All right. Hey, everybody. This is Tom Libby again with one of the co-founders here at Smarketing CONNECT on our Smarketing CONNECT podcast, which is relatively new to us. So if you'll bear with us with some of this, some fun stuff we're going to probably go through today. But today our guest is David Cutler. And as per usual, rather than me give you all the information, I'll give David the opportunity to introduce himself. So
Hey,
David, tell us
Tom.
about yourself.
It's great. It's great being on this one of the inaugural uh, sessions. This is great. It's getting better and better. We're going to go look back at this and really laugh and maybe cry, but we'll see how it goes. So I am a sales guy, and just like you, Tom, believe in sales. I believe in sales for humanity. Believe in sales for the success of companies. I get obsessed with it at times, and I think you and I have agreed that sales is probably one of the more worthwhile conversations to have at any company. But
Absolutely.
my background is more marketing agency guy from some big and small agencies, and I transitioned that marketing understanding into technology development because, as you know, advertising and marketing has kind of become technology. So now I kind of have two sides of my sword, so to speak, which is one is marketing communications, PR, content, and the other side is the technology that you use to either distribute it or manage it or ultimately take advantage of it, meaning ultimately sales. So if I was to give you a line about what I do, it's on my site at davidcutler.net because that's me. It's disruptive technology and tactics for new business development, right? So there's another line for modern sales.
There you go. That's actually a pretty good one. I like that.
Yeah, I like to use that. You can have it if you want.
I'll try it. Yeah. So tell us about the companies you work with, big, small, all over the place. Give us some information about how you working with them.
Well, it's so easy now to kind of expand into adjacent markets. Then obviously you got to be careful how your value proposition still holds true. The benefits of new ways to do new business development are really for every business, small, medium, large, all sizes. So I do transcend them more because of my mission is to harness new technologies for sales. But I actually work directly with smaller companies known as startups or emerging technology companies. They're solvent or have a business model that's working, and I'm there to help them expand on it and optimize it. So I do work with B2B companies across that realm for small business to large businesses. And one of the things I've ended up doing because of that range of understanding, I actually work with selling technologies of the small companies, the emerging technologies, to the large corporations and how they're kind of either buying them, using new technologies, mergers and acquisitions, maybe outsourcing things. So that's the way I kind of bring those two people together, kind of being that concierge in between them.
I like that too, concierge. So you don't have so you will work with small or large companies. In your opinion, it doesn't really matter all that much.
No, it doesn't. And I think the more I work with the range of them, the better and more holistic my thinking is. I'm not
Okay.
ever, why a big company can't do small things. Well, that's ridiculous. So I learned this small thing with this small company, and I can bring that to a meeting with a large company. And yeah, it's fits and starts, and you have to know the lay of the land and how the process works, or honestly, how to break the process, because that
Right.
goes back to my point. Disruptive technology and tactics for new business development. Well, that's pretty disruptive because it's all about new things.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Perfect timing too. So
Yeah.
we'll stop that and go. So tell me about, in your opinion, you have to have some sort of tool chest, right? Like what from your perspective, and because you deal with kind of large and small companies, just give me one or two tools that a company has to have in today's landscape.
I can't give you one or two anything. It's just my style. So, but if I had to pick one thing, it would be, and this is kind of a cheat, but it's mindset. It's not Zoom or Google Docs or Evernote, right, or Zoom conference, right. Those would be the tools that I would say. But I really think it's important to make the point here about what's the most important thing to have in your tool set, so to speak. And I think it's mindset. It's attitude of ongoing experimentation. It's questioning the status quo, holding down to what works, but also listening to new voices and being a fan and a critic of all these tools and experimenting with them, because you just don't know until you try. So mindset might be my tool.
Very cool. So in the realm of things, I mean, people and you are a consultant of sorts, right? So and I
Yeah.
know you've worked with like a multitude of companies on some of them juggling more than one at a time. What are the challenges that people usually engage you in and bring you in to solve for them
Yeah.
from a business
Yeah.
perspective?
And sales and marketing is a big, tent, right?
Right.
So I would say sales strategy, right? So it's actually what to do, where are the ideas, what's the marketplace, new markets, existing clients having a hard time. So the sales strategy. But I've been around. That's what the gray hair is for, and I've perfected the ability to actually take a strategy, an idea, and go to market with it. Go to the field, so to speak, and actually find out if that works and do it quickly and efficiently and come back and say, hey guys, maybe I'm working with a sales team at one of my clients, this is working, this is not. What do you find? What are you learning? And ultimately the goal here is to follow my clients, their sales team, you, for example. I would help you follow your customer's journey. What are they doing? What are they doing now? What are they doing with a mobile phone in their hand? What are they doing with a VR headset on at a virtual conference, right? Your sales opportunity is kind of different. So you're talking about your customer's journey changing. So that's where sales strategy comes in relation to that. And all the while, it's about increasing your revenue. So my real mission in life, again, go back to sales, is to help my clients increase their revenue. But doing that, there's a new journey to be aware of. And I think that's important to acknowledge. And that's my job, to find out how the new journey is affecting, their bottom line. And then sometimes their products.
Awesome. You're keeping time very well here, Dave. I just got to let you know. So, all right. So this is a little bit of
Don't
a little
don't,
spin
don't
on
tell my
this.
wife, because I can't get that's contrary to my personality.
So this is a little bit of a spin to this because I want to know from your perspective when small business because we tend to cater to smaller businesses. So we'll put on your small business cap for a second,
Okay.
and especially small businesses that are looking to hire sales and or marketing consultants, agencies, what have you.
Yeah.
What is the advice that you would give to those small business owners when they're doing that?
I think it's getting casual, like chilling out, right? It's keeping your sense of humor, very personal, be personal. Like we were on this call. This is you and I know each other, so it's a very natural thing. And if I say something, you're going to question it, right? And that's going to be okay with me. So it's kind of get casual, but also don't play the client vendor game. Don't be the boss. Get eye to eye with people. And it's not about blame or credit, because you're in this together and there's so many changes. And if you're doing things right, you're doing new things. So kind of get over the fact that it's right or wrong. You both have a sense of humor about mistakes that are made. I work with startups a lot, emerging technology, code-based tools that turn mobile apps into something that's productive. It's really kind of intense stuff.
Yeah.
But if we all treat each other with respect and argue about the thing and not about each other, keeping your sense of humor is probably the best advice that I could have.
That's pretty cool. So, I mean, you're basically, in a nutshell, talking about forming a partnership versus a vendor
It's a great way to look at it.
purchaser
No,
environment.
it's exactly right. It's exactly right. Partnership, but true partnerships. And if you think about true partnerships, they both have to have skin in the game. They both, it's got to be reciprocal, that they need each other. So if you find, the best advice maybe, to answer your question even more succinctly, is find a vendor or a partner, an agency that needs you as much as you need them. And you can talk about that and have that true partnership, and make that, and base your business model and your compensation on that.
Very cool. Good. I like that one. Good question. All right. So this is the point of the podcast. This is my favorite question, because this really gets us an opportunity to do exactly what you just said in your answer, which is to humanize us a little bit. Yeah. And kind of laugh a little bit at ourselves. And I love asking this question. And there's a lot of psychological reasons behind why you would ask this question in certain environments. This is not any of those. This is just to have some fun. So Dave, tell me, if you could be a superhero, who would it be and why?
Well, I love the fact that you asked this question before, and it's the only real question that I prepared for. So that's why I created the background slide. Mr. Incredible is my favorite superhero. And you might ask why, because, well, he's a family man. His intentions are good. He's flawed, but he is always trying to be a better team player. and got some good kids. He has good friends, so other superheroes. And I guess bottom line is Bob Parr, which is Mr. Incredible's real name. He knows how lucky of a guy he is to be married to Helen. I mean, come on, Elastigirl. I mean, need I say more?
Awesome. All right, I think this is the last one here. We're asking all of our experts to pay it forward a little bit, give a little bit of insight to somebody that you have either worked with in the past, you think would be a great guest on our podcast based on the questions you just answered, to try to help out our small business clientele and our small business audience. So who do you think would be a great guest for this podcast going forward?
Well, you and I are really well connected, so we probably know each other's best list. So I'm sure I'm going to come up with a name here that you know. But answering the question, I think, and even going back to what I was saying about this agency relationship with skin in the game, that kind of thing. There's a guy that you know, Keith Loris at salesrenewal.com, who is built business model about an agency service company that gets compensated based upon, revenue increase, but that's why his company's called salesrenewal.com. So I'd say Keith Loris would be someone who'd be great on the show, but also someone so you could have a good rapport with and make it a good podcast of good information.
Awesome. And then the last slide we have here for everybody is David's contact information. Again, like I've done in the past, I'm not going to read it to you. You can see it. It's right there on the screen for you. But I do also ask our guest expert here is, aside from what they see on the screen here, David, is there any other way they can reach you, find you, look you up, anything like that we don't have here?
Yeah, I think it'd make it easy at davidcutler.net, which stands for the David Cutler Network, which is why it was named that originally. You can see what I'm doing. You can share that if you wanted with somebody. There's my contact information there. If you don't have this slide, davidcutler.net, you got all my latest stuff that I'm doing. It's very simple, kind of my homepage for the stuff that I'm working on.
And if you can't remember any of that, you're watching Smarketing Connect's podcast, and David is on Smarketing Connect. So we can get you to him through our website as well. So if you don't remember anything other than you're watching the Smarketing Connect podcast, just go to smarketingconnect.com and you'll find David there too. So David, thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. This is the end of our podcast, and I am going to stop the recording, and you are going to have a wonderful day, my friend.
Thank you, Tom.